morning, everyone. Today we are going to learn how to cut a design larger than your 12 by 12 or 12 by 24 inch Cricut mat. I have chosen this design here, which is part of the Bohemian Arrow designs, which is in the March 2020 bundle. You could find that in the link below in the comments, and it's on the So Fancy website featuring 147 cut files, 13 total fonts, 3 alphabet sets, and a set of 3D elements this month. Those are super cute as well. Okay, so what I'd like to do is place this brave arrow onto a large poster board. So my poster board is like 2 feet by 3 feet. So I want to make this design. I'm going to change the width of it to 30 inches. Which I think is large enough. That makes it about 15, almost 15 inches high. So make sure your little lock is selected here to keep the proportions together. And you will see a little arrow here that tells you, hey, this image is way too big, which is exactly what we're doing here today. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing you need to do is understand that what we're going to use is the slice tool to do this project. Now, I'm going to demonstrate it using a 12 by 12 mat, which actually only cuts 11.5 by 11.5 inches. So I'm going to go over to shapes and grab a square, and it will automatically put this little square here on your screen. I'm going to change the color just so we can see what we're working with to like this lavender. So I want to make sure, again, this is locked, and change the square size to 11.5 inches. So that will make a full square that is the size of the cuttable area on your mat. Okay, let's move this brave down a little bit so you can see what we're doing. Okay, so basically what we want to do is we want to take these squares and cover up the design so we can slice it into each of these separate mats. So what I need is, it looks like at least 3 of the mats here and another 1 or 2 at the bottom. So let's duplicate this one more time, move it over so they line up. Just let them overlap a tad bit. Duplicate it again. Bring this one over here across the arrow. Duplicate it a third time, so we have 4 of them. And one more time for this little tiny section here. Okay, so these 2 are the end pieces, so it would automatically cut them, but we'll just do it this way for you to see what happens. Okay, now, important thing about the slice tool is that you can only use slice when you have 2 layers selected. So if you try to select all of this, like all of these layers, you can see that slice is grayed out, so you cannot use it. So let's grab the underneath design plus 1 square here on top. Doesn't really matter which one it grabs, and then click slice. Okay, so now you can see that it has sliced this top left quadrant. I am going to keep the black part of the design, which is, well, it's like a dark gray, but that's the original color. So let's get rid of these extra ones. I choose them over here from the layers palette, not from on the screen. So I'm going to delete those 2. You will see it leaves this piece. Okay, now I'm going to go back to what remains in the brave arrow and select another square. Slice those. Again, let's get rid of the purple, the lavender layers. Both of those. Grab what's left of the brave arrow again in the next square. See, make sure there's only 2 selected. Click slice. Get rid of those lavender cutout pieces. Here's the arrow one more time, plus this square, slice. Same thing, get rid of the lavender pieces there. And the last part, which is the center there, and this mat, let's slice those. We'll just show you what we end up with. Okay, remove the lavender pieces. Okay, so now basically we have several pieces that have a very, very tiny little cut in between them. You won't be able to see them until we move them to the mat here. So let's go to make it. You don't want to weld or attach anything because we want Cricut Design Space to separate these pieces into mats. Okay, so when we click make it actually is going to take the first mat and put these two together. The second mat is part of the word brave. And the third mat is this section and this little part of the feather. Okay, so then what we'll do is we will cut out these 3 separate mats. We're using the 12 by 12 mat, and then we will piece them together, and I will show you what that looks like.